Yes!
Welcome
to the Seattle Makers Podcast.
in completely different costumes from last week.
Jeremy got like 50% cooler and his hat got like 4 inches lower.
I'd say more than 50% cooler, but...
I do feel like it's like definitely a more hip-hop look with the low hat.
I should have my face showing since it's a video and all that.
Or not.
Alright.
It can be like one of those like man in the mask kind of things.
I get what you're trying to say.
Do you know what that hat reminds me of?
What?
It reminds me a little bit of the Rob Scallon hat. Any guitarists out there, comment below if you know what I'm talking about. The Rob Scallon hat, that's the gray beanie with the little like useless half bill on it that
Not
he wears in
familiar.
like... It's a guitarist, dude.
Oh.
Yeah.
Band I know?
No, just a dude.
Oh.
Rob Scallon.
Alright.
You can... That's a YouTube wormhole if you want to go down a guitarist-related YouTube wormhole.
We're going to get a bunch of Rob Scallon videos right over here.
He's done, like... Usually he does a lot of stuff that's, like, historical instruments or, like, kind of weird crossover things. Like, he did one that was, like, metal but also jazz. Or, like, metal in a jazz venue, like, as a, you know, a sketch comedy kind of thing.
Oh, yeah?
But a lot of his, like, larger instruments are part of what inspired me to try making instruments, because I was like, there's no way I can afford my own theorbo or, like, upright bass, but I might be able to make something similar.
Cool. When do we get to hear the Great Tedward play?
Eventually. I mean, can I self-plug? Do you mind if I self-plug?
Sure.
TeddyBridges.com has the latest stuff from me. So you can see stuff there. Gosh, now in the time before I post this video, I've got to make sure that's up to date, which is good. And then, yeah, that'll lead you down the rabbit hole, so go there.
Sweet. And JeremyHansen.com is a website I bought 10 years ago. Nothing there.
I heard someone say that's
Sorry,
really...
everybody else who's named Jeremy Hansen. I got it.
Maybe for Christmas, someone can, like, put up a website for you that's just like your face and be like, you found Jeremy. What if we did that? Like, we made like some randomly linked URLs from the Seattle Makers like website that like you click on like the right area of the logo and the Konami code or something, and it like
secret Easter eggs everywhere.
Yeah.
I like it.
And it like brings up your face and like a 2% discount.
It was going to be a professional portfolio page, but I think
you've got your own company at this point. Like, I mean, maybe someone will hire you again for something else eventually, but like, you've got a thing. We've been open
someday
700 and something days. So,
well,
700,
800, and
we crossed the 800
days.
Mark.
Yeah, we did it.
Okay, that's your preview for the community health report. Let's talk about projects.
Oh,
that's you.
Yeah, projects. So these are a couple projects that we made for our keychains after a couple keys walked off. So we decided to make giant numbers they are, with the keys, and they're actually color coordinated. When we used to access the top floor, we had the blue doors in the top floor. It was very fancy.
Huh.
Unfortunately, they still break in the back pocket, and they were still people were able to walk off with them. Like a giant. So I think we're going to have to make these like 5 times bigger.
Mm-hmm.
But for now, they are about my favorite keychain. Easy to find. And yeah.
I'm assuming you did another laser mask to get your paint lined up neatly?
Yes. So you can see... the numbers are overlapped, just barely, and those parts that are overlapped are just barely cut into the wood, and we had tape over it, so we could just remove the 3 and the 2 and paint red on everything, and then we carefully masked these parts again, and then sprayed it in silver. So really quick and easy way to make a colorful sign. I mean, it takes like probably less than 2 minutes on the laser to cut each one of these. Bit of spray paint, done.
Let me just outline that, because that's one of the things that, like, I walked in here the first time I was here, and I was like, oh, lasers, yeah, it's like 3D printing except with a laser. And it's really not. Like, those of you who have worked with a 3D printer before, which is probably a lot of you who have watched this podcast, know that, you know, it's kind of a process that you're not supposed to leave unattended, but you pretty much, you know, start and then, like, read a book, or, like, start and then go to sleep and wake up and there's something in the morning. Laser's not like that. Laser's like 5 minutes to burn through a piece of cardboard and it's done. So for those of you who enjoy 3D printing, not only because, you know, you don't have to do the thing once you've got your piece dialed in, you know, it's a really like ADD, immediate gratification version of making things.
Yeah.
So.
If you come to our laser rotary night, or the Monday certification, you'll meet Jeremy Palanchar, who's a huge advocate of lasers, and his time cannot be wasted with 3D printers. So I was like, did he tell you to say this?
Oh, no. See, here's the thing. I still like 3D printing a lot. You know, there's a lot that you can do in PLA that, you know, would be difficult if you wanted to stack a laser thing and then sand it down. So it's got both of them have their place. But, you know, for those of you who are like, I have a $400 3D printer at home, I'm just watching these two guys because, you know, I don't have anything else to put on my television, and I want people who aren't complete, well, we're kind of complete dorks, but, you know, you want like-minded people to listen to? Let me tell you, coming in here for the laser is a thing you should consider.
It's my favorite tool. Thing. Incredibly versatile.
It was such his favorite tool, he made pegboards with it.
I did. Yes, I was mocked. I was laughed at. They said, why would you... You could literally drive to Home Depot before the first section is done.
Yeah. To be fair, I understand doing difficult things just because they're difficult in order to, like, test your abilities. And if there's anyone that has an excuse to do it, it's the guy who owns a laser. But also, this was like, what, $40 of pegboard at Home Depot?
It's not that simple. They don't sell 1/4-inch pegboard made out of birch.
Okay, well, they sold it made out of pressboard, and then you could, you know, nail it to something
stuff's
stiff.
Awful. It's like it falls apart. It's
so pressboardy. The texture is all wrong.
There's no wood grain.
This isn't a simple pressboard. It's not some manufactured thing from America. This is an artesian pegboard off a laser.
This has taught us it's not everybody will get it, but
to be fair, it looks okay.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah,
looks okay. You look okay too.
Oh. Next thing.
Can you make fun of it? I'm fine with it. I'm fine with it.
I really like this one. I'm not making fun of this guy.
This is my name. Laser cut acrylic. Mounted onto some sign white acrylic, and then the Seattle Makers and the Hansen is vinyl cut and stuck on there like a regular old sticker. This, we wanted to do something that stood out a little bit for our name tags for the first Maker Faire. These are actually from 2017, September. I think it was like September 20th or something. We had our first Maker Faire, Seattle. And we wanted to do a cool name tag for everybody. It turned out to be very tedious, especially with these very small vinyl letters, but it looks really cool. And the way we did it is we cut out all the letters, and then we etched on there kind of an outline of each letter.
I was wondering how you got those all lined up.
Yeah, and I would probably do it a little bit differently now, because it's like, well, no, this worked pretty well. It's you're able to see the line sometimes. You can't really see it on this. I don't know if I can see it. We need to get the close. Oh, there we go. So you might be able to see the line, but since it's white, you don't really see it that much.
I would have never noticed if you wouldn't have told me.
I know, it's one of those, like, the makers, like, it's not perfect.
You're officially the insiders here, like, watching the podcast and seeing how the sausage is made, but I would have worn that to a fancy tuxedo dinner that I was somehow serving and needing a name tag for, and people would have been fine.
Yes.
Speaking of fancy, I just want to say on air that like 10 minutes ago you promised that if you make me one of those, it's going to come on a top hat.
All right, set in stone. Making a top hat, and you can just stick it right on there because it's got a little magnet.
Yeah.
So this is actually going to be our new indicator for who is a Maketeer at Space. Mm-hmm. And if you don't have one of these on, don't bug them because they're a maker. They're just making stuff.
Yeah. That's one of the other things in the space is the you run the space and Joy runs the space full time, but the rest of it is volunteer supported. So I'm a volunteer guy. Other people are volunteer guys who we probably will bring on and introduce at this time, if they want to be on camera, because then you'll be able to know like more of the community surrounding.
Yes, definitely.
I just kind of threw that out there.
And we have 23 people now who keep the space running, who offer expertise in areas from electronics to sewing to marketing to the website back end. We've had people help out with events or classes, all kinds of things. So it's an awesome community. We're adding people all the time, and that's another way to get involved with the space. We call it our Maker Tier program because it is a volunteer program. You volunteer your time, and you also get trained in all the machines. Mm-hmm. We try to give you projects that are inside of your focus or something that you're interested in, like say podcasting.
Yeah.
And it's pretty awesome, and it does take a village to run a makerspace. That was one of the main things we identified of makerspaces going down. It's like a couple of people running them, and burnout is real, and eventually it's too much for a couple people.
Yeah. I mean, that's the big point of this is, at a certain level, a lot of you watching this probably are smart enough that you could cobble together all these tools on whatever budget you have in, years of time and learn all the hard lessons yourself. But take it from a guy who tried to do that and then came and talked to more people and was like, oh, it's a lot easier if someone else can just tell you, oh, hey, you forgot this line in your code, or, oh, hey, just realign your printer gantry and you'll be fine. Then if you have to, run through your own skipping thought processes and self-diagnose everything. So,
which is not to say there aren't 6-hour sessions or whatever, or days where you're just like trying to figure something out. But having everybody do that, it's like, well, the CNC isn't down for 2 months, or it's like everything gets repaired, things stay up and going, and importantly, when people get sick, we have coverage. We don't shut down the whole shop.
Exactly. Like, struggle together, struggle separately. One's a cool story. The other is you just being still alone. Don't ask me how I know.
I don't know what you're talking about.
What else? Oh, yeah. Speaking of things that light up.
Oh, yeah, this is similarly made.
This is like acrylic night or something.
It's acrylic laser squeaky chair night. I really gotta get some. I have oil in the back room. I've just been listening to it for months.
I feel like I need to make that into no, not the chair. Stop the chair thing.
I thought we were gonna make it like an intro beat.
Like your little jingle. Acrylic laser squeaky chair night. There we go.
All right. What were we talking about? Oh yeah, acrylic. Oh, my face is all red. That's all right.
We're here in a hot studio, folks.
Yeah, hottest studio in Seattle. So the A is falling down, but this is. We were looking for a cheap way to backlight it because one of the cool things about acrylic is you can shine light through it, put a bunch of different colors together, and so we have our Kelly green kind that we're making our name tags out of, and this stuff, which is actually sign white, or no, not sign white, LED. It's called LED black. And cool thing about this is it is
He's getting a flashlight. 1 second.
I'm just going to talk slower, awkwardly, and segue into it. But so this looks black, like matte black on the surface, but it actually transmits quite a bit of light through it. So you can put a LED display behind it. Originally, the idea was to cover all the white parts, and so when it was off, you'd be able to see... Oh, this was going to be mirrored, so it'd be black and then mirrored and then this. And then when you kicked it on, you would still have light coming through the black and the makers, but you wouldn't have any coming through the mirrored. It didn't quite work out. We were trying to wedge it in there. It didn't leave enough room, and it broke, and we threw it out and kept this part.
I see.
But the way
Error of design strikes again.
Right. Let's see if we can plug this in.
Do I need to scooch you over?
Nope, we are good. So
cool. Can I turn off the light here and we can see this more on camera?
Well, I think
I don't know. We got it.
See it good.
We got it.
Yeah.
Cool.
That's the low setting. So, yeah. So you can backlight this, and we're gonna make this for our portable booth, so we can, go out in the. We're going to the Amazon Farmers Market and draw some attention, and if it's bright in the room, you can crank it up. How's that show up?
Yeah, I can see this. I feel like one of those paintings with like the paintings in the cathedrals with the saints. That's like Halo.
Yeah.
Like.
Oh. That's subtle, makers. Subtle.
Oh
yeah, it's like her outro. Nice.
Yeah. No, this is so again, this is like a cool thing for me because of like the budget aspects. Like I imagine if you tried to commission a sign like this, we're talking what? $300 minimum? Because usually shop time for if you hire someone else is like $100 an hour.
Yeah.
But this put together by us on I don't know what you sourced the LED panel for. Do you have
I think it was around $50. They've come down in price the last few years. I mean, the alternative was just getting sign white, which is effectively what this is. Kind of distributes the light a bit. And then getting a bunch of LEDs around or evenly spaced behind it, having it kind of diffract the light. But that's a lot of work for $50. So.
Cool.
Yeah.
I think that's it for the projects for today. Things that are going on. Let's talk about things that are going on.
What's going on this week?
You missed the excellent, amazing, extremely awesome journal making class last week, but good news. There's another one 3 weeks from now.
And tomorrow we have our first CNC mill certification. We should mention that a week ago. But yeah. So we've broken the CNC certification into 2 parts. The first is learning V-carve, which is like the design portion of learning the CNC. So you can design your cuts. Here's a great example.
This one?
Yep. This is a bongo drum that we cut out, or almost cut out, and so you can learn pocket cuts like this, profile cuts. Pocket removes all the material inside. Profile follows the line around, and then we also have a V-carve, which uses a V-shaped bit and carves out letters and things like that. So we go through how to design it, how to set it up, set the depths, the different types of bits, and basically how to do everything in the software side of it, up until the point where you make a path to output. And then the second part is taking that path and then taking that path, which is G-code, and then running it on our machine to actually cut out the wood, and then all the clamping and things you need to set up the machine.
All the things to make sure you cut only what you want to cut. And
yes.
Not anything else.
This is actually a happy mistake. We didn't cut it out all the way. This was at the Soto Makerspace a few years ago. We were trying to cut out the bongo drums, and then the CNC failed right about here, where you see the Bernie marks. It just stopped and kept spinning. Hit the stop. But it actually turned out into a really cool stealth bongo drum. So you can't really tell what it is until you start hitting it.
That sounds a lot better than I thought that was going to sound. I thought it was just going to sound like a piece of wood.
Yeah, pretty good.
Sounds
It's
like
cracking
a
little bit, but we actually had a guy who was a PhD in, wood instrument making. He told us the types of woods, the tones, and the actual diameters and depths you'd need to get a fifth step off in the different tones that the different drums produce. It was amazing. I just talked to him for hours. He was a wizard.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is the product of running into somebody who happened to have that knowledge, and 3 hours late at night at a makerspace, and then we just cranked out a mystery bongo drum.
Cool.
Yeah. So come to our CNC night.
Yeah.
CNC certification. It's actually a Saturday during the day, and learn how to do this for yourself.
Do we have another electronics night coming up?
We do. We don't have that. We may have that scheduled by the time this airs. We're looking at Tuesdays. But see site for details on that. We have a 3D print design 101 introduction to Tinkercad on Sunday, as well as a 3D printer certification.
All very fun.
Yes. See if there's anything else to mention.
Dun
Dun,
dun
dun,
dun
dun.
dun.
Well, our next laser certification is next Saturday, 3 to 6, if you want to come down.
So if you're like me and your brain is melting with all these details, what you need to do is go to seattlemakers.org. .org. And click on the calendar thing, and then find the things that you want to do and show up. That's all.
All right.
Community health report?
Health report.
We currently have 77 members.
And we've been open for 804 days.
Ow. I feel like there was one more thing, but we probably forgot it. Have a good weekend, day, life, whatever.
Ciao.
Yes!